Welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And before we get into it, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I was feeling a little bit down in the days before Christmas. I talked about that on my other channel, so if you want to go check out that video on my other channel. I talked about it, and was feeling a little down, but feeling a bit better today. Took a little bit of a 48-hour hiatus to rest and recuperate, but here I am back at it with you all. I didn't get him much for Christmas. The only thing I really got was old school stuff, like got some throwback t-shirts, got some throwback NBA t-shirts, got some throwback NBA hats. I represent the old school, man. So I represent the old school. So anyway, let's get into it. So I was watching something by my main man Clay Travis of Outkick the coverage. Okay, for those of you who may not know, Clay Travis does Outkick the coverage. He also does a show with called the Clay and Buck Show. Okay, and so I was driving into the gym this morning, listening to Clay Travis on Outkick the coverage, and he was discussing the Mark Cuban selling the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, and he touched on the NBA in-season tournament, which was a joke, which was a complete joke and a complete flop. Okay, and so Clay Travis really knows his stuff. Okay, and so he talked about how the NBA media was quick to say that everything that the NBA does is a success. Well, Clay Travis went back and looked at the stuff, and he said the ratings were only up a measly 4% for the NBA in-season tournament. Okay, which was a complete and pathetic joke to me, to you all who are watching his video. And he pointed out how desperate the NBA is to attract viewers. Okay, and Clay Travis also pointed out that the NBA since 1998 lost 70% of its audience ever since Michael Jordan retired. Okay, the NBA lost 70% of their audience. Okay, and so he was talking about the pathetic NBA in-season tournament that nobody watched, and Clay Travis did a poll on Twitter. Said, how many of you all paying attention to the NBA in-season tournament? And 92% of people voted, I'm not paying attention. Okay, so you all who are watching this video, y'all probably didn't pay attention. I sure as hell wasn't paying attention. And what was laughable about it is you got all these people caping up for the NBA like Colin Cowherd, Jason McIntyre, and Shannon Sharp. You got all these people talking about how the Lakers won the in-season tournament, and that's, quote, something Jordan never did. Give me a break. That's something Jordan never did. Give me a freaking break. Are you kidding me? Something Jordan never did. Not only that, y'all probably mocked the Lakers as much as I did for raising the in-season tournament banner. And we were laughing. And they were getting roasted on social media, okay? The Lakers were getting absolutely destroyed and laughed at on social media, okay? And they were being mocked for raising a in-season tournament banner, okay? And so I heard that. So I was listening to that on the way to the gym, okay? And it made me think, okay? And so many thoughts ran through my head, and I knew immediately what I wanted to say, okay? I knew immediately what I wanted to say, okay? Why has the NBA lost their audience? Let's see. Let's see. Maybe because in the early stages of the NBA, the late 40s, early 50s, the late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, through the early part of the 2000s, what did the NBA and the NFL have in common? Men. NFL and the NBA were played by men. You had men who played the game. You had the superstars, okay? You had the superstars. Of course, you had Wilt, Russell, Bob Cousy, Michael Jordan, Isaiah, Magic, Larry, Shaq, Kobe. You know, all the great players. They were men, okay? But you had the enforcers who were like men. Okay. You had your Bill Lambiers. You had your Nate Thurmans who would give out hard fouls. You had your Robert Parishes. The game was played by men, okay? And if the NBA is so great, if everything the NBA is so great does today, if everything the NBA does is so great today, then how come people gravitate more towards the early 2000s? How come so many people gravitate towards the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s? Okay? How come we gravitate to that? How come you all gravitate to that? The audience, okay? Okay? The NBA was played by men, okay? When people like Michael Jordan came into the league, men. People like Shaq came into the league, men. Now, it took Kobe Bryant a few years to develop, okay? It took Kobe Bryant a few years to develop, but Kobe came up the right way. He really didn't play his first year, but Kobe was a workaholic, man. Kobe had an excellent work ethic. Kobe had an excellent work ethic on the same level as Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's work ethic, okay? His work ethic was really on par, was up here, okay? So the game was played by men. And another reason why I would say is because we love to see physicality. Physicality has been eliminated from the NBA. Physicality has been eliminated from the NBA. Now, teams can't play defense no more. Teams cannot play defense no more. You can't hand check. You can't really put your hands on somebody posting up. You're not allowed to give hard fouls. Yeah. we love to see physicality. In regular, we love to see physicality, okay? So physicality has been eliminated, okay? So the NBA is not a good product, and not a good product to today. And every conversation that I hear, that I've heard about the NBA, we all talk about Rodman, Jordan, Magic, Shaq, David Robinson, the Rain Man, Sean Kemp. We talk about Wilt, Russell, Magic, Larry. And from all the NBA conversations that I've heard, I hear the same thing over and over again. The NBA ain't what it used to be. The NBA ain't what it used to be. And you know what? It ain't. Okay? Because, again, the game was played by men. There was a level of physicality that we liked. And we love to see a fight or two. And we love to see a fight or two, okay? Which I'm going to get to in a later video. I'm going to get into that in the later video, but the game is not played by men no more. It's played by kids. It's played by kids who really don't want to work hard and just want to stay on the perimeter and shoot threes. So, game is played by kids. There's no physicality no more. Okay? And NBA rivalries are non-existent today. There is no NBA rivalries today. Can you think of a single NBA rivalry in the league today? Let me take a minute, and y'all take a minute to think about that for a second. See, and I was thinking about this at the gym this morning. I was thinking about this at the gym. I tried to think of what the current rivalry is in the NBA. There are none. Okay. You had Lakers versus Celtics. You had Lakers versus Celtics in the 60s. You had Boston versus Philly in the 60s. Okay. Then in the 80s, you had a rebirth of Lakers, Celtics. And then there was a rebirth of the Sixers and Celtics. Then through the mid to late 80s, Detroit and Chicago came about. Then we got into the 90s. There was eventually Knicks versus Pacers. Then you had Heat versus Knicks. Lakers versus Kings. Okay. Spurs versus Lakers. That was a real rivalry in the West. So you had rivalries, team rivalries. You had individual rivalries. Wilt versus Russell. Magic versus Bird. Jordan versus everyone. Yeah, so you had rivalries across the board. Team rivalries, individual rivalries. Yeah. So like I said, if the NBA is so great today, then how come you all are gravitating more towards old school, okay? Because I see down in the comments where y'all are discussing how Wilt is the GOAT. Okay. And I see rivalry, and I see y'all discussing in the comments how Wilt Chamberlain, how y'all think Wilt Chamberlain is the GOAT, okay? And so even when we debate who the GOAT is, no, we talk about the old school, because I think one of the reasons why Michael is the GOAT, okay, is because Michael knew how great he was. And if you watch that last documentary, Dance, Michael said he let all his play do the talking for him, okay? And I know social media wasn't around in the 1990s, but he let all this play do the talking. Unlike some people, Jordan never boasted about how great he was. Again, he let his play do the talking. He let his play do the talking. And in a recent, and he did an interview after he retired, and he said it would be a certain disservice to Magic, Wilt, Russell, George Mikan, Bob Cousy, Kareem, Bird. It would be a certain disservice for Jordan to call himself the GOAT, because that would be, that would somewhat diminish the people, the legends who built the game, who came before Michael, okay? And so Michael doesn't consider himself the GOAT. That's why Michael Jordan is the GOAT, because he doesn't consider himself a GOAT. Unlike some people who shall remain nameless, who boast about every individual accomplishment that they do. So Michael is the GOAT because he doesn't consider himself the GOAT. He let his play do all the talking for him. Okay. So that's what I wanted to discuss today. No more physicality. The game isn't played by men no more. And there are no more rivalries. Okay. That's why the NBA is the pathetic product it is today. It's a load of horse crap. That's what it is. That's what the NBA is today. And Clay Travis wanted it out. The NBA lost 70% of its audience since 1998. What does that tell you right there? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. That's it, and that's all. For Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell, I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And I will see you all soon. Peace out. God bless.